Today we're going to cover the appraisal gap and how an appraisal gap works when you're submitting an offer to purchase a home. I'm David Novak. I'm a real estate agent out here in Littleton, Colorado, and we use appraisal gaps all the time when we're submitting offers still, just due to the low inventory and the high demand for homes out here. So if you're thinking of moving to the Littleton, Colorado area or the Denver area or surrounding area, just keep in mind that if you're looking at buying a house, you're going to have to probably use the appraisal gap that we put into the buy and sell contract when we're making an offer. So whether you're a first-time home buyer and you've heard this term, or maybe you've purchased 5 homes and you've heard of appraisal gap being used and so forth, and you just may not quite understand all the ins and outs of how it works, and you're just wondering, how does an appraisal gap work and what am I responsible for if the home I offered on doesn't appraise for the amount that I put the offer in on? Well, these are very important questions, and when you're working with your real estate agent, they really need to explain this to you up front, because you don't want to get into a scenario where your earnest money becomes at risk because you did not understand how the appraisal gap works. You don't have to worry. You're already informed and you're confident, and you can go in there and get that house. That's what we're trying to do, is get you that house. So anyway, let's go over a scenario here. And I have my nice little board here. I hope you can see it. Okay, we have the 500, let's just use an example, the $500,000 list price. Sorry about my handwriting. Let's say that you offered $520,000 on this $500,000 listing. Well, I guess I didn't write it in here, but let's just say that the home appraises at $500,000, but you offered $520,000. Well, then you're looking at a $20,000 gap that needs to be covered with the way that you wrote out the contract. So how this is going to work, the down payment that you need to come up with per your lender that you're working with, plus your closing costs, that's a totally separate deal now, because this $20,000 will actually be added on top of that. And so you just need to be aware that when you're submitting your assets to the lender, just know that you're going to possibly need more than those funds that they've already pre-approved you on, because how the loan works, the lenders will only base the loan on the appraised value or the purchase price, whatever is less. And I want to stress that again, the appraised value or the purchase price, whatever is less. And so you need to be aware of that, because you cannot finance an appraisal gap into your loan. There's no loan programs out there that you can do this on. So again, I just want you to be aware of that. So back to that scenario, if you had to put 20% down plus your closing costs, well, whatever that number was, add 20,000 to it, and then that's the amount of funds you're gonna have to have. On this scenario again, let's just say, we'll use the same numbers, but to protect yourself from the $20,000 gap, let's just say that we wrote in your contract that you'll bridge up to a maximum amount of $10,000 of any shortage. Well, then in this scenario, instead of the $20,000, all you're at risk for is $10,000. So back to this scenario that I just showed you, $500,000 list price, $520,000 offer accepted, house appraises at $510,000. Well, you're still within your gap coverage, so you still can cover the $10,000 like you put in your offer. But let's say the home appraises at $500,000 and you had the $520,000. Again, the most you're going to have to come up with is $510,000, and you have to amend the contract to reflect this. But everything has been agreed upon that, you know, you're willing to go $10,000, maximum to cover the gap. So that's one way you can hedge yourself to avoid getting in a predicament where maybe you got to come up with $30,000 or $40,000. I don't really see that out here in the area. I would like, if you're watching this video, maybe some of you, if you could comment on this video, kind of what you're seeing in your area as far as shortages maybe you've come up against or whatever. I'm just curious, but out here I don't really see that very often. I have had it happen a couple times in some areas. But anyway, back to all this. Just write in, if you're not comfortable just keeping it open-ended, make sure you tell your real estate agent that you want to put in a maximum amount, and then, just see how the offer goes. Just any way to be creative in submitting your offer, but yet being smart to cover yourself as well, so you don't get yourself in a pinch. And like I said, put your earnest money at risk, because the last thing we want is for that to happen. So, we're hearing people waiving inspections even, and waiving the appraisal altogether. Those are a topic for discussion on another video, but again, I just wanted to address the appraisal gap. Well, we covered, just a scenario and some questions that buyers have as far as how an appraisal gap works and everything. And anyway, I hope it kind of laid it out more so to you if you're still wondering how they work, just so you're clear on everything when you're submitting the offer. If you go in with an appraisal gap in the additional provisions and you waive your inspection, you got a pretty good chance of getting in the running for that home, at least based upon all the situations that I've been a part of. So anyway, just make sure when you're working with your real estate agent that you ask all these questions and get a clear answer on them, so you're fully aware, just so you're protected. Again, we don't want to see you losing your earnest money just because you didn't understand how something worked. And one last thing I get too from people, they always say, I know this is a dumb question, but I just want you all to know, no question's a dumb question, especially when it comes to buying or purchasing one of the biggest investments of your life. We as real estate agents, we do this, we've been in it a long time. I've been in it like 26 years. So when we go through all this, we tend to just go through and talk and just get going and maybe assume everybody knows. Sometimes I'm guilty of it, and I try to back up and just open it up so the buyers will ask me. But no question's a dumb question, and especially when you're talking about the appraisal gap. Yeah, I just hope this clarifies what an appraisal gap is and how an appraisal gap works. And anyway, just stay tuned to further videos on the real estate market in general, or some more informational videos on the process of buying and selling a home. And again, leave your comments below. I would love to hear what you're experiencing out there as far as bidding wars on your end. If you're from out of the Colorado area, even if you're in the Colorado area, please mention some comments below as to how you're doing on your offers and what you're seeing out there, because I'd love to see the comments and see how everybody's doing. But anyway, go get that dream house of yours. And if you'd like more information, feel free to message me anytime or get in touch with your real estate agent. Have a great day.